Morgan's getting very casual with the countdowns now. He's going, it's around about 3, 2, 1. And we're live. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. You're very, very, very sound. I'll start off with the confession at the top. I'm always into my healthy diet and everything. I nearly had a moment of weakness today. I almost ate some sugar. Well, I suppose I ate a small amount of grams of sugar. If you were to look at how much sugar I ate, there's technically some sugar there, but it was a big bar. There's only less than 2 grams in it, so I shouldn't feel that bad, but definitely a bit guilty about it. I feel a bit shitty this week because I think we're about four weeks into lockdown and doing all this stuff now, and it kind of hit me this week that it's all gone. My life, it's all gone. It's first few weeks I was setting up the live stream. I was kind of helping out sorting out furlough for the staff here. It was exciting a bit, suddenly big change of life, except now it's all right, this is it, we're in for the long haul, I guess. First week was kind of tough, and I thought I was over with it. So first week was tricky. I was drinking wine with my dinners a good few evenings. Second and third week, I was back on the bandwagon. I was eating healthy. I was doing everything really good. Third week was the same. Last week, I even gave up caffeine again. Well done, me.
Mad.
I know. Morgan's big fan of caffeine, and
caffeine.
You might drag me back over yet, because I'm not getting a lot of work done during the day. I gave up again during the week because I always thought caffeine kind of didn't really affect me too much, and but then I was also having 3 cups a day, and I was grinding my own beans and making it up in the AeroPress. I really liked it, especially when I wasn't having sweets or stuff like that. It was a nice treat to have. Except then when I was going to see my shaman, we should interview him someday. That'd be funny.
That'd be a thing.
That'd be quite good, actually. Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Everyone would like to talk to the shaman. When I went to see my shaman, you kind of do with him. We call them journeys and stuff like that, where you let your mind kind of wander into the spirit world and you get advice. And anyway, I was kind of told to cut down on the caffeine. It wouldn't have been something that I thought about doing at all. And plus, as well, when I started doing the yoga, a lot of the people who are into yoga, all the teachers and that, they don't take anything really that affects their body or affects their perception of the world. So they kind of see things as they are. So I said, caffeine doesn't really affect me. So I quit it. I gave it up. Man, the first day after quitting it, I went to the gym. It hit me hard. I didn't think I was addicted to it until I kind of gave it up and tried to go to I had the worst session ever. It took even about a week later, I was going to the gym. It just wasn't as good. I wasn't kind of hitting it as hard. I wasn't pumping it as hard. It wasn't as much fun either. But I managed to stay off it for a good few months. I didn't even have green tea or anything there, chai tea, because there's caffeine and all them as well. So I didn't have any of them. But then when lockdown happened, I wanted to kind of start getting a bit of energy back into my day. I wanted to do something. So I started having a cup of black coffee in the morning, going for a 5k run, and then doing my yoga, really pump it up. And sure enough, 3 weeks into that, I began to wake up in the morning and feeling real groggy. I felt like I was dragging myself out of bed to a job I didn't want, but I'm not doing it, and I get to choose my own job now, so I can just do what I want. So I shouldn't have been feeling groggy. So I thought, no, I'm addicted to caffeine again. So I gave it up last week. On Monday, I gave it up. And it was a tough week last week, but now I'm reaping the benefits.
Are you?
No, I'm not, Morgan. I'm just reaping the benefits of no caffeine. I'm much more laid back during the day, and a teacher once told me if I was any more laid back, I'd be horizontal. So it's not really helping out at all. But I'm going to stay off it because my yoga teachers are, and they know what's good for you. So I'm going to stay off the caffeine and see what's happening. But I swear, keeping off it for a bit, it has really contributed to this week just feeling a bit down, a combination of no caffeine this week, and the weather kind of getting a bit bad, and kind of this is the 4th week of lockdown now. I have been a bit down the dumps. I took acid on Saturday as well, so that might take a bit out of you. I watched that movie Extraction on Netflix while tripping, and I suppose any movie while tripping is the best. It really related to my life, It just really dragged me in and made me feel like it was such a good movie. So if you're going to watch it, go tripping and watch it. it's definitely going to be class. It was so emotional and hardcore, Chris, and there was really long shots in it. Morgan's really into his into what you call them, editing. Yeah.
I'm into a lot of movie things, man.
Yeah, he loves his editing, and I was looking at bits of edits, and I have to make a note of this and tell Morgan about it later. And I had to look it up online so I didn't sound like a fool when I was talking to him. There was like a 12-minute single shot. Oh, right. A single thing shot. I don't know what it's called. We'll figure it out later. But that's what it was, and I said you should watch it. But then I also done the caveat that I was tripping absolute balls when I watched it, so of course it was going to be good. Yeah, but that was a really good weekend. I took it early in the day, so like you're down for the evening. Then I done a Zoom call with my friends. It started at like 9 o'clock, and I don't know about you guys, but like I find if I'm Zooming with my friends and we're talking like 4 hours and there's 3 or 4 on the call, I get absolutely wasted. Like I'm sitting there, I'm kind of waiting to chat most of the time, and I just get so drunk. I really got hammered. I got so drunk that I make Morgan a whiskey sour at 1 a.m.
And a baby Guinness.
And a baby Guinness. I came in with a whiskey sour and a baby Guinness, and I think that's what made you were all right. You were just like chilling. Like I had already a load of pints in me at that stage, and I made them. But it's the combination, and I didn't even have I only had limes. I made it with a lime. And I had the baby Guinness and the lime, and it was only the next day that I realised you shouldn't be doing mixing cream with kind of citrus, because of course that's going to mess your stomach up.
Oh, that makes so much more sense.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today. Oh, it felt so bad. Yeah, it wasn't good at all. But yeah, that was my life. Wouldn't change a thing of it. Well, maybe I wouldn't have drank so much, because that makes it a bit sad. I was hungover the next day, and even I was physically hungover on Sunday, and then Monday I felt like I was mentally hungover. And today I'm feeling a bit better, but not good enough that I didn't go out and get some sweets, which is what this all sparked. So that's why I got the sweets. Well, on today's show, I'll tell you what we're doing. We're chatting to a friend of mine, FIONA RIDGEWELL. She's a comic. I've been gigging with her for a good few years now. She was building up her new hour this year. She was also prepping for a charity boxing match, which was kind of cool. I've seen some of the things on Instagram. She was getting ready for a proper fight. Like, I've known her for a while, and like, yeah, I reckon she could fight. Yeah. And she was training. Like, I definitely wouldn't want to fight her, that's for sure. But we've been chatting to her for a little bit. Also, I don't know, like a lot of you guys at home, you might have Virgin Media. They were cutting out on us yesterday, and we've been all right today, but they may cut out, and if they are, Richard Branson's company, they're going through some tough times, so just cut them a bit of slack, like, you know. Poor old Virgin having a difficult time. But also we might disappear. We mightn't even be on now, who knows, but we'll see what's happening. And then so we'll chat to FIONA for a bit, then we'll she sent in some of her stand-up as well, so we'll watch that, we'll check that out. It's always nice to watch a bit of stand-up during the show, I really like it. And then we'll chat to her for a bit, and then we'll wrap it up about 9 or so that's the plan. It's the best plan we got. There's other bits to the plan that we might interact in times to come. And if you have any suggestions to the show or to the plan, do send a message. We're streaming this mainly on YouTube and stuff like that. And we've already got a few comments, so I'll need to read them. There's a good few here already. That's cool.
Wait a minute, discussing coffee, yes or no, and what to watch when you're high.
Okay, what to watch when you're high. Oh man, 2 of the best movies I ever watched while I was not just high, but like, there's different smoking weed. You could be smoking weed and watch something that's good, or you could be on a psychedelic and the movie is basically, it's like it's looking at your life and it's just producing it for you, except in superhero form. That's kind of what they do. So I was watching 2 of the best movies I ever watched. Maybe I watched them on the same trip. First one, Whitnell and I had never seen it before, then watched it while on a tab, and it was mental. It was so good. It was so funny. And there's the bit where Harry Potter's Uncle Vernon, he's in it, and he acts like a paedophile or something. And when you're tripping and someone acting like that, it's way too real, and you think that is not cool. And you really hammers home down with that sort of thing, I suppose. It's Father Teco. And then the other one was Doctor Strange. I was telling Morgan about this today. The weirdest thing about when I was watching Doctor Strange, when I was watching it, it was like he was born, right? He was born and he had certain talents in his life, and he had certain weaknesses. And then he'd travel through life and he'd be trying to learn a lesson, but he never had the proper combination of talents and weaknesses that help him learn the lesson. So he might have really good hands for doing surgeries or something, and I can't think. It was so hard. It was tripping, as I said already. But like, he has certain attributes that he's able to do, or he's able to get through life. But then when he gets to the end of his life, he just didn't have the proper combination. And he wasn't able to complete his task. Then he'd die, and he'd have to relive his life again. That's the movie I was watching when I was tripping. Except the next day when I watched it, I had to watch it straight away the next day. When I watched it the next day, it was totally just. It was just a superhero movie, and he was just trying to save the day, and that was it. And I was very, very disappointed. So they made them better. So, Luke Brace, fan of my new bandana. I say new bandana, I just haven't used it before. I was wearing a white t-shirt today, so I thought I'd pop on the white bandana. It could be my new look. Does it show up well on the screen, Morgan?
Yeah, I think you look alright.
White and white. Is it a bit?
Yeah, you're not wearing green, so that's a benefit.
Green, because the green screen, yeah.
Most but not all has pointed out something really annoying.
Go on.
The background is actually reversed.
Oh, is it?
This whole month I've been using it.
I was about to turn around and have a look. Oh, yeah. A total idiot here, actually. The background's reversed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's because in that, when you're looking at the screen in me, that's actually a mirror behind me, and the window is out there. That's how that would work. So that's why we've done that. I actually thought about that originally. Yeah, they love the bandana. I'll keep going with the bandanas. I like it. I like the white and white. I'm trying to think of a theme or a look I could do for the internet. And white t-shirt. That hasn't been done yet, has it? Simon Cowell does that. But
yeah, but he's not on the internet, so you're fine.
Is he?
He's not around.
He's not around anymore. It didn't work out for him. Let's see. Good evening. I'm supposed to write this. Some dude here was meant to write his. I can see the background changed briefly there. Nice. I think I'm watching. I'm looking at the comments, and the stream is a few seconds behind, so that's why it's kind of happening. So it's technically not live, I suppose, Morgan. We're lying to the people.
That's a question for the end of the stream after an acid test.
Latency. I wonder would I be able to trip while doing that? I don't think I could. It'd be too much. We have the two cameras. I'm on both screens, and there's people watching, asking questions. All right. People are calling for more gifts. Josh, you can like that. Thomas Motts. Yeah, he's the guy who picked up the background image. He's some man for spotting that. We need Thomas. If you find any other problems with this, please let me know, because I'm sure there's a fucking million of them. All right, Stoney never liked Stoney's never liked coffee. He's always been a tea head. Yeah, tea. Like my mum and dad used to drink tea. Maybe I thought it was like 14 cups a day. Like they used to have one as soon as they wake up in the morning, then one when they're making breakfast, and one after their breakfast, and then they head off to work, and then they make one at work. So before they even start work, and they're 4 cups of tea in. I gave up caffeine for the first time last in August. When I went home to visit my mum in September, mum and dad, I told mum, and like completely without chatting to each other, we'd both given up caffeine, because she just given it up one day and she started getting huge headache. Or no, she wasn't able to have it one day. She started getting huge headaches, and then she realised how much of an effect it was having on her if she was getting headaches when she couldn't have it. Yeah, Daniela, no, she loves her coffee. Yeah, I was chatting to her at the gig before, and we she does like her coffee to keep her going. That's why I was drinking coffee as well. Coffee. Man, I'm loving the comments here tonight, guys. They're really, really good. It's nice chatting to you as well. Getting to know some of you. I'm seeing some of the names popping up again from before, which is really cool. All right, that's class. Yeah, Josh is listening. Keep the gifts coming, Josh. People are a fan of the gifts. I don't know what ones you have prepared, but sure, sticking a random one now and again, they can have a good laugh at my expense, because I can't see it. That's sound. You might queue up Fiona there, and we'll get her up on the screen, and we'll have a bit of a chat. Hoping I didn't turn my Bluetooth off. I might have. Can you hear me, Fiona?
Yeah, hello.
Oh,
can you hear and see?
Yes, I can. How are you keeping?
I'm good.
Thanks for being thanks for being patient there. There was definitely some sugar in those sweets. I've been talking for about 15 minutes. This is the chat of, oh, I haven't had sugar in ages, and then I have it one day and I go and talk, I extended monologue by about 600%.
I think started about you getting sweets. So it was a nice round circle, yeah?
Yeah, these things are fairly well planned. Me and Josh spent, at least I turned up here at about 5 to 8, and I really ran through the monologue. Like I said, here's what I'm going to talk about. I hope it makes sense, because it doesn't in my head.
No, it's very good. Yeah, but I've been watching, that's what I've been doing with lockdown. I watched all the Marvel films.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
What? All the Marvel films? There's like 20 of them or something.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So I've got one left.
Was it?
Infinity Endgame. But I watched Doctor Strange like a couple of nights ago.
Uh-huh.
I didn't love that one.
Yeah, well, were you on acid when you watched it?
I wasn't, and now I wish that I was.
Yeah. I think more people should be tripping during lockdown. It's really good, but then I'm also worried. It hadn't happened to me before, but I'm also worried that I'm a bit down because I was taking drugs at the weekend. Drugs don't make you sad; they make you happy. So I don't know what the problem is.
Well, I don't normally drink much. Like I can sometimes go about a month without drinking, and not really notice. But I've been having a drink every night.
Yeah.
Like not, but like just one. I've just had to have a drink. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because every day feels like a Saturday or.
Yeah, I think it's time is a bit weird. I was saying it a few times. I definitely had that feeling of the first week of lockdown. It was just every evening, because there was always a reason for me not to drink, because I was going out to a gig, or because I had to be up early, or because it was like Wednesday and I was saving it for the weekend or something. Whereas like there's no weekend I'm saving it for. I may as well have it on a Tuesday as well as a Saturday, because I'm just going to be browsing the internet after 10 anyway, or having some food or something like that. There's no reason to kind of save it up for a special occasion, I suppose. But now I suppose I'm chatting when I do love. I am catching up with friends, and I'm speaking to my friends a lot more than I used to. Like every couple of weeks, I'm getting in contact with my uni friends that I haven't chat. Like I used to only talk to them every 4 or 5 months, so we'd message on Instagram or something. But now we're chatting a good bit, like. And I was saying I get so steamed on those Zoom calls. It's something about Zooming your friends, and you just get hammered, like.
You done any quizzes?
No. Morgan is the king of quizzes. Morgan hates quizzes.
No, I love the quizzes.
Really? I don't. My group of friends have done it so that we get a round each, and I've turned my round into a treasure hunt. So I don't want a quiz. So I just give them clues, and then they run off around the house and bring stuff back to me.
That's very original. I really like that. That's very, very funny.
Quite fun. But yeah, I'm just thinking of what conversations am I going to have after this where I can use the facts that I've learned in these quizzes. But me, the only time I'm using them is in a second quiz where someone else asks the same question, and I'm like, oh, I know what the largest organ of the body is. Do you know what it is?
The liver.
No, it's the skin.
Oh.
I know. So there you go. You're welcome.
I'd heard that before. It must vary from person to person, though. Like, because some people's livers might be bigger than their skin.
I don't think anyone's liver is bigger than their entire skin. But yeah. I mean, we can Google.
No one could say penis either, because the penis is covered in skin. So, like, yeah.
I like how that jumps to your head, though. Yeah.
I was trying to think of a smart answer and then undermine myself.
Yeah, so you've not been doing quizzes, so what, do you just catch up?
Yeah, well, the first one, when I'm doing a Zoom call with my friends, it's just in grid view, and we just start chatting and kind of trying to catch up, and then someone makes a joke, and then there's always some type of running joke that we keep coming back to for the whole thing. But then about maybe 2 hours in, we kind of hit a vibe where everyone is kind of knows how to talk without interrupting, and people take turns, and you kind of see the subtle gestures in each of the streams of when someone has something to say or someone hasn't talked in a while. But it takes about a couple hours to kind of get into that, and then the really good talk happens, where like one of my mates might say something like, oh, it's just making me realize that I really don't like my job and I want to do something creative. And like it's just like, oh wow. Well,
the meeting's run out, gotta leave.
that's a huge thing to kind of realize, you know. And then luckily to be on the call, like, or say I'd be on the call and I'd be someone who didn't figure that out, but kind of made a decision to try and do a creative job, or just say, fuck it, I'm going to try and do that. So suddenly I can talk about like the bare kind of hard facts of how I went from day job nearly to a comedian, or to running my own thing or something like that. Whereas like, oh yeah, you work 5 days a week, you save up as much money as you can, then you do 2 nights a week, you try and earn money from that, you're wrecked, like, but you just do it because you have your long-term goal, you know. And for me it was definitely kind of starting your own nights and running your own nights and stuff like that made it kind of okay to kind of give up the day job.
Well, being in a creative thing, you always feel a bit like that can be taken away from you, but this is proof that anything can. Like, even if you had a 9 to 5 office job, like some people's jobs are just gone like that in all different fields. So I think it's worth the risk.
Yeah, it was,
even if doing what you want to do.
Totally. Like, it was, I'd heard something like that. I think it was, I'd already given up my job when I heard it, but it was like Jim Carrey motivational speech or something like that. He done one. Yeah, where he's wearing the hat and everything like that. But he said that his dad was an accountant and wanted a good and stable job, so it was safe and secure. And then whatever happened to Canada or something, the economy tanked, lost his job, and then it made him realize that, oh, you can have a secure job, but you could also lose that, you know? So it's not, there's nothing secure. There's only the illusion of security, you know? At least here with the Bill Murray being able to have it like, you know, I can't lose this job, I can only lose the whole company, you know? If it comes to it. we're clinging on, it'll be all right. But the thing is, you can't, for some reason it's amazing how like this, the Bill Murray can last a lot longer than some accounting firms or something like that, because there's a huge, it's not just me here that's trying to make it or something like that. There's loads of people here, there's a huge community of people here who all put their own little bit into it and get something out of it. We're not like making big fucking profits or dividends for shareholders or anything like that, you know. It is for the people who use it and the community who are involved in it and just signs on it. When we set up the Patreon during the week, everyone just started chipping in, and loads of people says they personally put in a tenner every month or whatever, because they personally want the place to be here in 6 months so they can bring another first date here once, you know. Like, they actually want it to be here, like, it's not, they're getting value out of it, like, you know.
I'm looking forward to coming back.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Do you ever worry about, or do you ever wonder about your first gig back, and like even just your set and your jokes? Have you thought about it at all? No?
Yeah. It's going to be horrific. Like, I already think that, like, this is the longest I've not gigged for since I started. Mm-hmm. So this is the most time off I've had. So I think the nerves will be higher. I think I'll be so nervous going on. Just because even when you've had a bit of a holiday, when you go back to that gig, you're like, oh, do I remember how to do this? Because it's that feeling of anything can happen. Yeah. And the material, I don't know, because if we go back to a world where there's a bit of social distancing, some things just won't work. You can't be like, oh, I saw this, or like if you're still not allowed to see a certain amount of people or something, or the first gig back can't be like, I was with this person last week, or I went here, or I did that. Yeah. Because none of us seen anyone.
Yeah, it's like your opening joke is, I was shaking hands with my friend the other day. It's like, no, you weren't. Oh, we were just. I remember seeing my thing. He had a spider on his back, and I just brushed it off. It's like, no, you didn't. You're not allowed to do that.
Like, my friend was telling me some new material, and he was like saying about if he was on the tube and if he just brushed someone's hand. I was like, but you probably won't be able to do that. So that can't be the start of your premise. Or like a lot of comedians sometimes high-five the audience.
Yeah.
I remember the last gig I did, someone high-fived the audience, and I was like that.
Yeah. Like,
it all started, but not properly happened, but you didn't know what was okay and what wasn't.
You're only making me think now, like you're saying about, when things come back. I'm very worried about, like, say, even the shows here, because we used to get like 80 people in the room downstairs, we used to fill it up, 80 or 90, or even a bit more, like rammed and that. But, and people are saying, when it comes back in however many months, there'll have to be only so many people in the room, and there have to be a certain amount of distance between everyone. And, I'm kind of a bit of the mindset, oh yeah, fine. But what's the fucking point if they all crammed on a tube to get here? They've already mixed with everyone and stuff like that. So I'd actually kind of I'd nearly think I'll kick up a bit of a fuss unless they do something about the tubes. Like, I know they can't. Like, the tubes, they really work them and they make them run as best they can. But if they're saying, oh no, social distancing everywhere except the tubes, then there's no point doing it. You either fully do it and there's no interaction, or you don't do it at all,
Yeah, well, they when they first, it's almost like they're coming up with these ideas quickly, aren't they? Because when we first sort of came into lockdown, and some of the supermarkets were like, oh, we'll have that hour at the beginning of the day, and that'll be for NHS staff and the vulnerable. And they were putting them in the shops together, and people were like, hold on, do you think you should separate them?
I didn't hear that.
all the MPs have gone like, oh yeah, we'll do that hour for them. That'll be a good idea. And people were like, no, separate that. Put them at opposite ends of the thing, like.
That's so funny. All the nurses coming in just finished their night shift, like.
And then they were like, we'll wrap that. These are the hours now.
Yeah. But, and then from.
It's 5 weeks, so you've had an extra week, James.
It's been 5 weeks lockdown, yeah? Alright, so I done 4 weeks. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll do 4 good weeks where I exercise and do everything, and then I have 1 week where I'm a bit like, I'm not gigging, haven't seen my friends or family.
Yeah, you have to let yourself have that and not be like, I wasn't productive, or I should have done this. Because that's when you just get a bit miserable. I think you just have to go, that's my little week holiday, and then I'll again.
Yeah, a little bit. I was talking to one of the other directors, and it was like, they were saying last night it hit them a little bit as well. It's funny how it hit both of us at the same time, because it's kind of a month, maybe it's just a month in, because initially it was like, to be honest, it was like, I didn't want to say this to people, because I know there's loads of problems with the virus and it's terrible for society and everything, but I was a bit kind of excited about, look at this situation I'm in. I'll need to how will I survive, and how will I can do this, that and the other. I have so much free time. I've never had free time before, and I know it comes at the expense of loads of old people, but I've loads of free time. I need to do something with it. But then after 4 weeks, you're also like, Jesus, I spent so long building up my previous life where I'm gigging, I have my group friends, I was enjoying my weekends, I got to travel back home and see my friends, or this, that and the other, and then a lot of the stuff that, like, my favorite stuff, literally meeting up with friends. Like, I'm beginning to realize how much I really like that. That's one of my favorite things to do, meet up with friends and just hang out with them, like something I really look forward to, and that's something you just totally can't do now, like. But it
has made me realise what's important, because I think as well with comedy you can get a bit caught up in it, and you can be doing it like 5-6 nights a week, so you don't often get to see a lot of friends or family, and this has made me realise that actually they're the people that will always sort of be there, and that's what's important. So when we do go back, I will be definitely making a point of seeing them more and spending more time with them and stuff.
Yeah, I've a bit of a kind of a strange, maybe it's not a strange view. A lot of people have this view on life that kind of things are mapped out, and so, like, a lot of people, I kind of believe someone a bit like destiny in some ways, like where things are kind of mapped out and you're just almost experiencing stuff, and things are going to happen. So, like, maybe it was a thing where, I wasn't going back and visited my parents as much as they'd love to see me more. Like, they even came over to visit me twice last year, which never had. It's so much handier for me to just go home and see them, because I just jump on the plane and get back. The two of them coming here is like a pilgrimage, like with like 6 bags. They're like, we're going to go to London, like, they were meant to come over in April, at the start of April, and then they just had to cancel the whole thing as well. Like, but yeah.
It was April disappeared though.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all existed. Like, I feel like I was in lockdown for most of March, but really it was only a week of March and all of April. But I don't even remember coming in and out of April.
Yeah, I think it was just before. Like, I'll always remember the thing that linked me back to the start of lockdown. It was kind of like on the month, so Saturday, Sunday, everything was going a bit mental. Crowd numbers were down. Everyone was like, "This is getting a bit. What's happening?" And then Monday night or Monday afternoon, we had 3 shows booked for the Bill Murray, and each one of the 2 of the shows cancelled, and the third was a mixed bill. And then every one of the comics on that bill mailed in to say, "Is it happening?" They don't feel comfortable with coming in, kind of. And then Tuesday, lockdown. You know, it was like furlough Tuesday. Like, all that happened. Like, you know, so it was so quick.
It was the week before that was worse, because that was the week that I was meant to do the boxing match.
That was on the Friday night, was it?
Friday, yeah. And on Monday, he'd said, like, Boris Johnson had said, "Oh, if you can not go to pubs and you could not go to bars," but he hadn't said, like, you're not allowed. It was just like, if you could do a favour.
Yeah.
So the venue and the boxing guys were like, "It's happening. It's still happening."
Mm-hmm.
So right up until like the Wednesday, I was training to do this boxing match.
Mm-hmm.
But also, there were people that were like, "Well, I don't feel comfortable going to a venue where there's going to be 2,000 people." So then it was the point where you're like, "I'm going to be getting punched in the face, but in front of a handful of people that went."
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't go.
But you'd be getting touched by someone else, but they would be wearing gloves, so it wouldn't be too much contact. Like.
Yeah, but it was more the crowds didn't want to be
there. Oh, that's right, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, because there'd be no crowd cheering you on. It'd just be you and this girl raising money for charity.
Tell us, had you done any amateur boxing fights before that, or was that your first one?
No, so I started. That was going to be my first one. So I'd done a lot of the sparring. Which is where you basically get punched in the face, and then you're like, "Oh, thanks, we'll do that again tomorrow," and you just keep learning. You only learn from getting punched in the face. So I'd been sparring like 3 times a week up until for about 6 weeks before that. So I was ready for it to be done, because I was like, "The last."
Yeah.
Because I had the idea that if I did boxing, I could avoid getting punched. Like, I'd be so good at ducking and diving. I wouldn't get hit. And then I started doing the sparring. I was like, they were like, "You're going to get hit, you idiot." And I was like, okay. So I was just ready for it to be done.
Yeah.
I was but also like, that's enough of that. I've been hit in the head enough.
Yeah, you trained a lot for it. How did you get, like, how does it happen where there's some promoter kind of half knows you and think, "Yeah, I think Fiona will be up for doing a boxing match, having never done one before"? Like, do they
I thought I'd be good at it. So I went to them and I was like, "Look, guys, I think I'd be pretty good at this." But no, I'd been going to a boxing gym for about a year before that. But you just do the pad work. Yeah. And I thought I was quite good at that. But obviously, when someone starts hitting you in the face, everything goes out the window. Yeah. You're not very good at that.
Yeah, I trained martial arts for a couple of years, and I was sparring as well, and I was kind of the same thing in some way. Like, it's such a classic shock to the system, like when they say, "Oh, cover up," so you put your gloves in front of your face, and then they just hit your gloves, and then your own gloves hit your face. And like, you're meant to keep them in tight, but it still hurts. Like, you're still getting hit all the time.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to do, because again though, it's a bit like comedy where there's an adrenaline rush, I think.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they'd be shouting at me like, "Put your chin down," and you think your chin is down, and then you see it back and your chin's up here and you're getting... And I was talking in the sparring. I was like shouting back at them. Because I thought the bit where you go in the corner, you know, like with your corner guy, I thought that was to sort of discuss how it was going. But like, they were like, "No, this is..." So I'd be like, "Oh, my chin was up. Oh, did this wrong. Oh, that left hook." And they're like, "Shut up." And I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, "She can hear you. She can hear everything you're doing wrong." So I was like, "Okay, right, am I doing all right then?" They were like, "No, you're not doing right."
You're talking too loud, you're telling her what you're doing.
It's for you to tell us how you're doing. This is for us to tell you how you're doing. Now keep your guard up. And I was like, "Okay, yeah." But no, I did enjoy it, but I wouldn't become. Oh, I'm too old to become a boxer, but I wouldn't want to be training all the time for different fights. It's so hard.
Oh yeah, it's really you're literally getting your body bet up. You know, you just keep getting you're hitting, it's hurting. Like, I wonder, is it one of the worst? Like, you must have been in pretty good shape before you went into it. Like, how long had you done other sports, or were you just done kind of? Were you always athletic, or did you just do a year of boxing and then thought I'd like a fight?
Well, I did a dance degree, so
Okay.
I'd always done some, and a lot of the boxers do. I do say they do ballet and that, don't they? I don't know, to keep them on their toes and stuff.
Maybe, yeah. Well, I know they're definitely. If anyone's doing it, they're always very athletic. Like, or even I know some.
Yeah.
There's some UFC fighters, like even female UFC fighters, that would have taken it up in their mid to late 20s, and then they'd be still fighting through their 30s. Yeah, I can't think of their name, like, but some strawweights and stuff like that. They're not common now. It's becoming less common where people take it up later. But I suppose when the women's UFC or women's MMA was just kind of getting a foothold in that, if you're athletic and you're in your 20s and stuff like that, you could take it up and you could get a few professional fights and you might start doing all right. Like, but now the women fighters are just so good that you need to be going at it from your like teens.
Yeah.
You know, you need to be boxing hard or doing Muay Thai for a long time. Like,
well, even with the boxing, when you hit the pads, they like make a noise, and you think, "Oh, I've hit that hard." So I don't know, it sort of encourages you. But when you hit a person, it doesn't make any sort of noise really. So you're like, this is relentless. I'm doing nothing. This isn't how I punch, by the way. It's like a good job that fight didn't happen. But yeah, and also I didn't really like hitting someone else.
No.
No, I didn't like that.
Oh well, I think that's a big difference between you and some of the people that I would have fought. Like they'd say afterwards, I just love hitting people. Like they just really want to hit people, and that's just what they're into. And boxing, oh, I have to hit a person. Brilliant, they love doing that.
Well, that was one of the things they told me off for actually with speaking, because I'd like punch them, and then I go, oh, I'm sorry, and they go, don't apologise, and like just keep going. So yeah, I'm not a natural fighter, let's say.
Yeah, would you go? So say, hopefully, once lockdown is over, things go back to normal. Would you like to build up and do a fight, like just do at least one fight and just do it properly and do it again?
Yeah, so they've postponed it, so I am gonna do it. They haven't cancelled it. Like they basically, whenever they can do it, we'll do it. But we'll obviously need to do a full 10 weeks training again.
Yeah. And are you doing any training yourself at the moment? Are you just even running? Are you doing any hills? Are you just keeping in shape? No, nothing.
I'm running because I'm really lucky. Like you were saying about seeing friends and family, I live like 2.5 kilometres from my mum. And my mum and grandma live together, so I run there and then I shout from the end of the drive and have a chat with them from the end of their drive. And then my sister lives 7 kilometres away, so I run there and I get to see my nephews and her, but I stand at the end of the drive. Yeah. So I've just been running around the whole of Kent basically, and then it hit me that no one's run here to see me.
That's sad.
I run everywhere to see everyone else, and no one's thought, we should maybe just do a wave by at Fiona's. Nothing.
Yeah, nothing at all. Well, in fairness, they're probably afraid you'll beat the fuck out of them or something. She's still in training. I might ask the guys to load up your clip. You sent in a clip of stand up to us. So if the guys could load it up, we'll have a look at it. It's 10 minutes. I think it was recorded at the Bill Murray as well, which is really nice. Yeah. It's nice remembering the good times, you know. We had loads of comedy shows on here, and loads of people were leaving euphorically. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, and it's a bit quiet down there now. I just still hoover downstairs. I still hoover the stairs now and again because it gets dirty, me going up and down, or I think it's just the roof and the walls kind of falling in. I think that's what's happening actually.
Down there, got on stage.
How is what?
You haven't gone downstairs and got on the stage then?
What did I do? We recorded a few videos downstairs for the live stream when we're doing From the Archive, where I kind of introduced the show, and then I went up on stage and kind of recorded them up there, but I didn't fully take up the mic and plug it in and do it. I think, oh yeah, I'm here, I might get some practice in. No, you just seem absolutely mental. If someone looked in and they seen a comedy club during lockdown, one dude on stage, to be just like, this is too much. Like, it's just, my brother was joking before. I was doing some pull-ups, and you could see me from the outside. And my brother was coming to visit, and when he came upstairs, he pointed at the kids outside, and he said, "See the kids out there? I was walking by them, and they were pointing up at you, and they say he does one pull-up for every child he's murdered." It's like, that does not make sense, but did they say that really? And he's like, no, but if they did, I'd let you know. All right, there we go, back chatting again. All right, you might play the thing, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Thanks very much. See you soon.
Hello. Yeah, I'm Fiona. It's lovely to be here. I mean it. I'm trying to be more positive. Have we got positive people in? Yeah. No, I'm trying to be more positive. I've been a bit negative recently. I've been watching the news. Yeah, fuck that. I don't. Thanks, sir. Yeah, I don't really like the news. Like, I prefer the news once it's solved. You know, like once they make it into a Channel 5 documentary. And that's when I can normally get on board with the news. But there was this headline and it said that social media is making millennials lonely. And I don't know if it's making me lonely, but it's definitely making me, like, self-conscious. So I'll be on, like, an Instagram profile and I'll be like, oh, they've got such lovely hair and they're always out and they've got nice teeth. I just think I have to stop following that labradoodle. That's what social media's like, isn't it? It makes it feel like everyone and everything is doing better than you. And I've been particularly, like, negative recently because I got dumped recently. Oh, thank you. You're actually like a panto crowd, aren't you? He's behind you. Yeah, not anymore. So, unfortunately. Because I got dumped and I should have seen it coming because during the relationship I said to him, I was like, oh, maybe we should act like we're strangers meeting in a bar for the very first time. And he walked straight past me. So the signs were there. A bit like the time he suggested role play, which was a short experience. Oh, fucking hell, is that him? Laugh at me a second time. There was a short experience because I didn't get the part. But I'm at a point where I'm really single, and what I mean by that is that, ladies, you know when you wear sort of 50 denier tights? Yeah, for men that's really thick tights. It gets to a point where you start to see the hair coming through and you start to feel it, don't you? That's been happening when I've been wearing jeans. It's happening now. So it's like, get yourself a boyfriend. So I went on Tinder. Is anyone on Tinder? Hey! Oh, God. A man basically... turns out it is just you, sir. What's your name? George. What do you do, George?
I'm a digital marketer.
A digital marketer. Okay, I don't know fuck all about that. Oh, you should be quite good at marketing yourself now on Tinder, no?
Unfortunately.
Ooh, that was quite good, wasn't it? It is digital marketing. Fucking pat on the back, me. What's your bio? Fucking hell, you're not trying very hard, George.
Come on. I like hip-hop, I think, and my dog is...
You like hip-hop, you think? I don't think anyone's going to go out with someone that's not sure about themselves. I think I like hip-hop, and I think my name might be George. I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing. Have you sent any dick pics, George? No, he's not going to admit it now. Because I went on Tinder, and my friend said to me, she went, did you get any of those dick pics? Did you get any dick pics? And I was like, no, like, I didn't get any. Not that I'm offended, like, I don't want any. But I know there's a lot floating around. No, because there's this radio campaign, right, and it's called Disrespect No One, and it's about don't send out nude photos because you don't know where they'll end up. You don't know how long they'll be around for, right? And I was talking to my friend Gemma about it, and I said to her, I went, have you ever sent a nude photo? And she went, yeah, I sent one to Josh, right, which is her boyfriend. Do you know what she sent when he asked for a nude photo? Her bumhole. That's what she went with, her bumhole, right? You can just imagine. He opened it and he was like, oh, not what I meant, Gemma, delete, no thank you. I said to her, I went, why would you send your bumhole? And she went, well, you can't recognise me from my bumhole, can you? And you can't fault the logic on that one, Angel, because if you can, you're showing too many people your bumhole. But she actually, like, she prepared for the photo. So she had that laser hair removal done on her bumhole. I mean, she had it done other places. She didn't just walk in and was like, just that bit, please. She had it done everywhere else. But what I like about that is beauticians go into beauty because they like painting nails and doing facials. And then they're like, by the way, Tina, at 2:30, you will be staring at an arsehole. Oh my God, why? Does she want her nails painted? No, an actual arsehole. Because the thing is, it's uncomfortable, isn't it? Like, when you go to the hairdressers and they're like, what do you do for a living? Where are you going on holiday? So I can't imagine the level of awkwardness when someone's... I don't know if that's how they do it. I imagine that's how they do it. I can't imagine the level of awkwardness. But I do know that they're definitely doing that bit. You know that they do at the end of a haircut? Well, they just bring up the mirror to show you the back. So what do you think? That's what I imagine my arsehole would look, Tina. Thank you very much. But yeah, I told you I got done. And, all right, laugh at me. Yeah, so my friend said to me, because I got dumped, and I got to be like, oh, it's all going wrong. And my friend said to me, she was like, oh, it's my 30th birthday, I've booked a holiday, I've invited lots of people, you should come along, right? It's going to cheer you up. So I booked onto this holiday. Turns out when someone invites a lot of people, not everyone says yes. So I ended up going on holiday with me, my friend Kaylee, and her boyfriend Chris. Thank you, one woman. Everyone else is like, sounds fucking awful, but that's all right. Thank you. It gets worse. I came back with me, my friend Kaylee, and her fiancé. I know, it's like no one has considered my feelings on this holiday. Because if they did, they definitely would have done their proposal on day 14 and not day 2. Because I remember before we went, everyone said to me, they were like, do you think he's going to propose? And I said, no, like absolutely not. Because he's taken her on a hot air balloon ride, but he's invited me. It's weird, isn't it? He sent me a WhatsApp saying, I'm going to take her on a hot air balloon, do you want to come? And I was like, no, that can 100% be your thing, right? So when they came back from this hot air balloon and he'd proposed, I was like, what the fuck, Chris? So you invited me on that hot air balloon? And he went, yeah, I know. I was just being polite, right? Which is the most British thing I've ever heard. I said to him, I went, if I wanted to stand awkwardly at the back of a proposal, I would have become a gondola. And he went, I think you mean gondolier. Gondola is the boat. And I said, I think you're missing the point of the conversation, Chris. I said to him, I went, it's all well and good inviting me, but what if I'd said yes, right? And this was my favourite bit. He went, I just thought they'd put you in a separate balloon. Is that not the saddest red letter day you've ever seen? So they're just floating along, having the happiest moment of their life, quite literally on cloud 9, and then you just got me floating behind on my own, just weeping, like I definitely would have cried in that balloon. It's just people on the ground like, oh, Sandra, weather's took a turn, hasn't it? No, there she is, there's a girl crying from a hot air balloon. Because in my mind as well, like I imagine that's how a lot of people propose. So I'd have been surrounded by proposals. And when he dropped down to his knees, I wouldn't have known that's what he was doing. Just would have been like, all right, what's going on in your balloon? Yeah, I would have cackled the happiest moment of their life. But when we came back, everyone said, they went, that is so romantic, proposing in a hot air balloon. And I was like, no, that is a hostage situation. Like, it's really difficult to say no that high above the ground, isn't it? Like, if he was going to include me as well, he should have just done it on the flight, on the way there. It's just like, will you marry me? And she's like, no. And then the seatbelt sign comes on, 8 hours over Dubai. She's like, you know what? Fuck it. I think I'm going to say yes. Because the rest of our lives could not be as painful as the rest of this journey. I think that's how a lot of marriages get started. Just one person goes a little bit Joseph Fritzl during the proposal. Just a little bit of Stockholm Syndrome. Anyway, a little bit dark that bit, isn't it? Are you all right, George? Okay. I think they're telling him that's how he could get a girlfriend. I have no idea. Weird. But what I will say it's because I got a little bit like, oh, I'm 30, I'm single, it's all gone wrong. And my friend said to me, she went, yeah, babe, but it can change like that, can't it? It can change like that. Which is a really nice way to look.
We are live.
Cool. How's it going? Yeah, while I was watching Fiona's set there, I was scrolling down through some of the comments, and they're really good. Daniela was saying that she watched 50 Shades of Grey while high. I think every girl has probably watched that movie at some stage. But she also said that don't watch it sober, it's absolutely terrible. So in case you're still watching it, used to be a book, it was a big hit there a while ago. Luke was saying that he thought he was watching Rick and Morty episodes, but it was just watching Netflix on a loop. It's just watching the preview again and again and again. So no doubt he was high during that. Nice one, Luke. Danielle, she's done Murder Mystery on Zoom. Don't know how that'd work. Maybe it's like Cluedo or something. Or maybe it's a different type of game. That'd be quite good. Oh yeah, this is one spot that I want to kind of briefly mention. Sophie Drift said she gave up sugar for the first 2 parts of the year, or the first 2 months of the year, and that you thought you'd come out at the end of it and you wouldn't care about sugar and you wouldn't have the addiction, and you say it's in your genes. I totally get that. You could give it up for a long, long time, and the kind of way I've kind of come to terms with it is that if you're eating sugar all the time, you'll go a few hours without it, and then you feel a bit down, and then you'll need it, you know. But if you don't have sugar for a long time, you'll always want it, but you don't need it. And I think that's the only kind of thing, because sugar, it tastes really good, it's hugely calorically dense, and your brain is actually tuned in. It almost is in your genes, where you do really want it. Your body knows honey, really calorically dense, you want it, it's really, really good. It is actually tuned into your body. So the most you can do is kind of just say, no, I don't need it, because it is bad for you, rather than you fucking need it, like. And then last one was Thomas Motts. This is a nice one. He said some of the best shows that he ever seen in the Bill Murray were socially distanced ones, which is just means that they didn't sell that well on the night. But but I know what he means. Like some of the previews, there'd be some comics, especially up and coming comics, where they mightn't sell a lot of tickets, you know, because they're doing the first run at Edinburgh, but they've put like years of work into their first show, and then they come down, there might be 10 or 15 or 20 people in the show in a room that can hold 80, and we just spread out the seats and we do the show, and it can be really really good shows. So like, even if it's not a big name, it could be a small name doing their first show, and it could be a really good show. So it doesn't have to be a pumping room, it could be still really interesting. So that's a nice thing to see, hear from him. Most, not all. Thomas, that's how I know him. Maybe just for the last bit, we only have a few minutes left and things like that, but if you want to comment what movies to watch while high, and I'll jump back at the end. I'd love to see some of your suggestions. It'd be really, really cool. And just for the last few minutes, we'll jump back. Have you ever, Fiona, have you ever watched any movies while incredibly drunk or high that you'd recommend?
No, I don't really take drugs, and then I ate some brownies in like last August. I broke my foot, and my friend was like, "I'll come round and bake some like hash brownies for you," and I ate like half the tray, and I was just a really sad mess. You know the advert where the vegetables were singing. Have you ever seen that advert?
I know the one you're on about, yeah.
If the vegetables were singing, or if I was projecting that onto just normal vegetables anymore, and time went weird. Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's part of it. That's the sweet.
Oh, it's not for me, James. It freaked me out.
Yeah, maybe were you sparring that day? You might have got hit in the head a few times as well.
Well, no, I had a broken foot, so I hadn't done it. But then I just kept saying, I can't move because I'm going to break my foot. And they were like, but you've already broken it. And I was like, but I can break it again. Yeah,
like every drug is different. Every drug is different, but it's also different to every person individually. So I know some people that eat brownies and they just get stoned and they just watch movies and they love it and stuff. I'm actually, despite the way I go on about it, I'm not hugely into weed at all. I don't really enjoy smoking it. The main thing I liked about it is, say if you're at a party and someone's passing around, you're all sitting in a circle and you pass around a joint. But now everyone will have to have their own joints because of coronavirus, probably.
Oh, Jeff.
That was my favourite bit about smoking a joint. You got to pass it around. You have to say something and give them the joint, and they're like, "Thank you," and then they say something. You know, that was like the nicest thing about it.
The thing with the brownies is I was drinking prosecco as well at the same time, And everyone was like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. You're not meant to mix the two. Like, your friend should have told you that. But I think she probably thought, well, she's a 33-year-old woman. She probably knows how to take drugs by now.
Little did she know.
I didn't know how to take drugs.
Yeah. But definitely weed, brownies, or even weed in general, it's totally not for everyone. There's a lot of people out there, and I'd nearly say I'm one of them, where I'm not really. I do it now and again just because I like the challenge, but it's not like I do it for a huge enjoyment. It's like, oh, I'll just go to get really stoned on Saturday. I'll really enjoy that, or say, oh, I wish I could get stoned today, but I've no weed. I'm never like that, you know. I'm always like, oh yeah, it's pretty good. I might do it, but I'll always just kind of like I do say love having a drink in the evening or something, or just chilling out, and that's nice. But like some people just love a joint and they just have it, but I'm not one of those people. It does make me a bit, it's not an enjoyable thing. Like I would do it to kind of purposely make myself anxious and paranoid and to kind of really examine my own life. But that's why I like doing psychedelics, because they make you, it's not all enjoyable. It really makes you look at your own life, and it brings certain things. It's not, so you only do them every 6 months or something. You do it every so often.
You didn't do that in lockdown.
I did, yeah. I done it on Saturday. I tried it out, and I was walking along the streets, like, and like everyone has the masks on, and I was the only one not wearing a mask, and I'm like, oh shit, was there an announcement where everyone has to wear a mask, and I wasn't told. And then look around, and like down the street, and I didn't have any drugs on me, but just down the street there's a fucking policeman walking along, and I'm like, all right, I need to get out of here. I was totally like that. I didn't have anything on me, and I seemed completely normal because I took a small dose, and I just was trying to feel the vibe, and I just wanted to kind of get in touch with it, like, but I wasn't doing anything crazy. I was able to just walk around, and it really wasn't that bad at all. I took only a very small dose, a half a dose, but I was still seeing some visuals and stuff like that. But I could go into a shop, I'd be able to buy something. It was a very, very low dose, because like you could take a dose and you wouldn't be able to leave the house. You'd lie down on the ground, and the sun would melt you into the carpet for 6 hours, you know. That's also a reality that I lived once. But
oh my god, I just feel like this is a time when we're already looking in on ourselves. I don't think I need drugs to do that for me.
Yeah, but I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest. If you want to,
I don't think this is the time I try them.
No, like the only that's 100% true as well. Like it's a very weird time. You want to take them in a good setting, and you want to be in a nice kind of vibe yourself for doing psychedelic or something, or even doing mushrooms or something like that. And I totally appreciate that this is probably not the time for a lot of people to try them for the first time. I will concede that.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so that's, I pretty much just watched adverts when I was stoned. I didn't really watch anything else, just the clock. It's horrible. Like time just didn't move anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, time. It's called time dilation. It's when you look at, say, if you look at a clock, do you know when you look at a clock how the second hand is almost frozen, and then it clicks? So it's almost like that, except almost more intense as well. So the perception of time. So time is only something that you perceive. It doesn't actually exist. It's only a thing that we're using to measure. But when you see something, say, yeah, say if you see like a tree kind of die and fall into the ground, or a person get old, you're not seeing time pass, you're seeing decay. You're seeing like the chemicals there moving and changing and things. So time is only a way we kind of, it's like distance. It's like, what is distance? It's from here to here. It's like we measure that. Was that not just space? There's no such thing as distance. It's just space. Like it's like there's no such thing as time. Like there's only one part, say undecayed and decayed or something like that, and we measure the time between. So so when you take a drug or you take something like that, it kind of helps you kind of, like the idea of time or some of that. It's concepts that we were taught and that we've built up and we've learnt. You know, whereas they helped us quantify the world, but they don't actually exist in some ways, you know. Yeah.
And you realise that once you've taken weed, you go, oh, that didn't exist anyway.
It's not really like you realise that. It's kind of like you almost see it with fresh eyes for the first time. It's like you're an adult in a kid's body or something, where you're seeing something for the first time, and you're like, oh my God, I didn't realise that the tree is just not getting older, it's just decaying. You know, it's like it's there in all there is the present moment. You know, that's why I say, oh, time travel mightn't be possible, because how would you go back in time? You need to get all the molecules that are back then and move them all into the space where they should be,
Right.
So it might seem like a big thing.
Doctor Strange again.
Yeah, this is what it was like when I was like with Doctor Strange. You're dead right, Fiona. Dead right. Yeah. Oh man, they're good crack, but they're challenging. It's not like, oh, great fun. Here, I'll do this. This will be good fun. I'll go to a party. It's like, no. I really want to question my own psyche. I want to see if the morals that I have are something that I can stand behind in my day-to-day life.
Yeah, not ready to do that at the moment.
No, not at all. Not at all. So, do you have any quizzes on tonight? Any Zoom quizzes? You could ask them about time dilation. That'd be funny.
I know, yeah, no, I've got one tomorrow, but I reckon I'll just do a treasure hunt again.
Yeah, that's a clever one. Do the treasure hunt.
Had some quite good ones though. Someone did like a catchphrase. I don't know how they did it, but like little, like Mr. Chips catchphrase. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
That was quite good. People did like emojis. Like these emojis mean something, so you had to guess what that was. So it's not just questions, because we did one the first week, just questions, a 3-hour-long quiz, and that was awful.
Yeah, sounds terrible, the original quiz. There's some people I was chatting to, and I didn't realise, but there's some people who were natural born quiz masters, and they love getting quizzes ready and doing all the questions up, and they want to be the quiz master, and for their whole life they never realised they were a quiz master, but now during lockdown they're given the opportunity to blossom.
But I thought I was going to go into lockdown and find out loads of things that I was good at that I just didn't have the time to discover. Mm-hmm. Like maybe like baking or cooking, or there's nothing I'm good at that I didn't know about.
No, I think there's a lot of stuff that you could be good at that you might have the time where you could be a great baker. Like, if you have to punch someone in the face, it's a lot of shit you can do.
Yeah.
If you're willing... Yeah, if you're willing to go out and fight in front of 2,000 people and train for 10 weeks and get hit in the face and all that, I'd say you could handle baking a nice cake. Like,
yeah, maybe I'll give that another go. Have you done any baking?
No, I've done a little bit. I've made a few, like, I'm not huge on desserts and stuff like that, because they do like there's always sugar in them. There's always a lot of calories and stuff like that. But last weekend I made a vegan keto chocolate mousse. So it was very, very simple to make. It was just a couple of tablespoons of cacao, half a tin of coconut milk, and then some chia seeds. And then you put them in a lunchbox, shake it all up, get all the lumps out of it, and pour it into a nice glass and let it set. And then you put a few drops of stevia in, which is an artificial sweetener that I have. And then you just eat it. It's quite nice, and it's high calorie. There's high fat in it, and there's fairly high calories in it. But there's no sugar in it, and it doesn't make you bloated, and it doesn't make you crave more sugar later on as much as if you just had a sugar one. So it was like a chocolate mousse. It was really, really nice. I'll make it again. It was nice.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of sugar. I've got just sugar.
Oh, delicious.
Oh, that makes me sick. I miss sugar now.
Yeah, absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. That's cool. Well, we're just at 9 o'clock now, and I want to chat to a few of the guys in the comments. So I'll say goodbye, Fiona. Thanks a million for chatting. You're a great crack, and we'll definitely chat again. It was really nice talking to you.
Cool. Take care. Stay safe.
Take it easy. Bye.
See you,
Cool. All right, Morgan. We'll have a look at these comments. Did anyone say anything?
We have one from Stony.
Yeah.
David Attenborough's Blue Planet.
Oh,
that's a
that is. I'll tell you a story about that. Hang on, I'll get some tunes going. See if you can hear them fairly well. Okay. They sound really nice, actually. Yeah. They're my favorite tunes. I don't know. Can I do David Attenborough's Blue Planet? When was it? It was maybe 4 years ago. I started watching that, and that was the first time that I tried to start. We got a load of weed, and we actually did make weed brownies. And they were actually, looking back at it, was actually good fun. Actually, I'd really recommend them. But a friend of mine, he worked in the physics. He was just starting his PhD or something, maybe, Anyway, he ended up getting a projector from college, and he brought it upstairs in his room, and then he put it across the wall. So we used to have the brownies a couple of nights, and then we put on David Attenborough's huge documentary across the wall, and we'd sit down on the ground and we'd have a load of cushions along the ground and stuff like that, and then we'd watch Blue Planet. And yeah, I haven't thought about that in ages, but that was such a good time. It was really, really good. I'd love to do that again, actually. I might make some brownies.
We should do a stream of just us reacting to Blue Planet on the ceiling.
On the ceiling. That would be great. Any of those nature documentaries, if you're the thing is, drugs do make everything better, but they're fucking great to watch anyway, you know. But you don't want to watch them. You don't want to watch them on a tiny screen. I'd love to go to the IMAX. They have the IMAX down in Waterloo. There's always only 10 people there, so they're probably still open at the moment. Yeah, down in Waterloo, but they show random David Attenborough documentaries and stuff like that on a huge screen. Did I take half a tab when I went to that before? Or maybe, no, what was it? I took a spoon of weed oil and then I went to watch it. That was quite good. What you do is you get a load of weed and you boil it up, or you cook it up in coconut oil, and then you strain it all off so the coconut oil goes kind of green, and then you take a small teaspoon of it and you get fairly steamed.
I'm going to have to add how to take drugs into the description of the videos now.
Here's how you cook and take drugs. Let's see what other vocals I have. I don't know the music coming through, but it might be.
It is, but that's very confusing.
Yeah. Yeah, so, is there any other questions? No, I think that's everything, man. Let's see, Danielle says, hang on, here we go. Another good keto vegan recipe, chopped mousse. One very ripe avocado. Some coconut milk and cacao powder. Ripe avocado. I think I've seen that recipe somewhere. You just reminded me of it now, of course. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I could potentially make... I eat so many avocados anyway. That's the only problem. I definitely have one a day, but yeah, maybe that'll be enough. Alright, pump up the drums a little bit before I say good luck to everyone. Yeah, so I think I've talked a good bit this evening about drugs and food, and chatting to Fiona was great fun. I really like talking to her. She loves fighting. I also like fighting. Yeah, maybe it's definitely an Irish thing. Irish people love fighting, and if they don't, they get bet up. So you need to love it or learn. That's what they say back at home. Either love fighting or learn to love it. That's what my dad used to say. Yeah. Okay. Wind down the thing. We overran a little bit this evening because it was so much crack chatting to you in the comments, guys. It was really, really nice seeing some of the different things come through. There's a huge list of stuff there. I'm going to flick back through them later on, scroll down and just see the stuff that was said, because it's really nice chatting. I won't get through everyone here, but Daniela, thanks a million for chatting as well. It's really good. Morgan was in there. He's Angel Comedy, if you're wondering. He's chatting back to everyone while I'm chatting as well. Thomas Motts, but he's what? Motts, but not Motts at all. With Stoney, he's been here for a few weeks as well. Really nice chatting to him, get to know him. I hadn't seen Sophie Drift before. She had some good sugar comments, and if you haven't known, I think that's my true forte. People think the only thing I like more than drugs is my dislike of sugar. That's what I like. Robert Perrin was coming in for a few bits as well. Then earlier on the night we had Luke Brace as well, so it was really cool chatting to them. And it is cool chatting to you guys, and it's nice getting some interaction and things like that. So hopefully I'll be chatting to you a bit more, and we're talking about looking at doing it on other streams as well. It's nice doing it on YouTube as well, but a lot of people are looking at Twitch now and putting stuff up there, so maybe that might be something that we'll be looking at, or maybe we'll jump over there, or I might do a show over there. So if there's anything particular that you like me chatting about, or if you have any ideas for the show, you can send us a message here, stick it in the comments. You can email on my Instagram, James James O.D. Comedy, just send me a message and just say what could improve it, what I'd like it, or what you'd like to see more. Because like, you're the guys that we're doing this for in some ways, and it's nice chatting to you, it's cool getting to know some of you, it's getting to know your humour as well. And if we can kind of start building this show together and doing something fun together, that's what I want to do, and that'd be what would be really, really fun. So it was nice chatting. I'll be back tomorrow with some community highlights and then another interview later in the week, and we have more archive stuff coming up Saturday and Sunday. So thanks a million, Josh down Surrey, for doing all the gifs and making me look cool in the background, and Morgan for doing all the volumes.
Anytime, man.
Nice one, dude. We're going to watch some Midnight Gospel on Netflix, and we're going to talk about that next week. If you want to check it out, it's meant to be pretty good. I've seen a couple episodes already, so it's going to be good. Super cool chatting to you, and I'll see you all again. Take it easy. Good night.